Warhammer, Dark Omen, an immersive retrospective and gameplay analysis. Warhammer, Dark Omen is a real-time tactics game that was released in 1998 for PC by Mindscape. It is based on the Warhammer Fantasy Battle's tabletop game and is the sequel to the 1995 game, Warhammer, Shadow of the Horned Rat. Dark Omen received critical acclaim upon its release and is widely considered to be one of the best games in the Warhammer franchise. In this analysis and retrospective review, we will examine the gameplay mechanics, storyline, graphics, sound, and overall quality of Warhammer, Dark Omen. As mentioned earlier, Dark Omen is a real-time tactics game that requires players to manage units of soldiers in battle against enemy forces. The game's mechanics are designed to provide a challenging and engaging experience, while still being accessible to players of all skill levels. One of the key features of Dark Omen's gameplay is the unit management system. Players must carefully manage their units, positioning them on the battlefield and selecting appropriate tactics to defeat the enemy. Each unit has its own strengths and weaknesses, and players must take this into account when selecting their army composition. In addition, each unit has a morale rating that can be affected by a variety of factors. For example, losses in combat, friendly fire, and the presence of enemy heroes can all impact a unit's morale. Units with low morale are more likely to flee from combat or engage in friendly fire, while units with high morale are more likely to fight to the death and perform more effectively in battle.
The game also features a variety of terrain types, including forests, hills, and rivers, which can affect unit movement and combat. Players must take into account the terrain when positioning their units and selecting tactics. For example, archers are more effective when positioned on high ground, while cavalry can quickly move across open terrain to flank the enemy. Another notable feature of Dark Omen's gameplay is the variety of missions and objectives. Each mission has its own set of objectives, ranging from simply defeating all enemy units to capturing specific objectives or rescuing allied units. Players are given a set number of units for each mission and can recruit additional units by completing optional objectives or purchasing them from a camp screen between missions. The game also features a variety of enemy types, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses. For example, orcs are strong but slow, while Skaven are fast and agile but less durable. Players must adapt their tactics to the enemy they are facing and make use of the strengths of their own units. The game also features a variety of heroes, each with their own unique abilities and storylines. Heroes can be used to turn the tide of battle, providing powerful buffs to nearby units or engaging the enemy in melee combat. Players must use their heroes strategically, as they are often the key to victory in tough battles. Overall, the gameplay mechanics of Warhammer Dark Omen are engaging, challenging, and well-designed. The combination of unit management, terrain types, mission objectives, and enemy types creates a deep and strategic gameplay experience that is both fun and rewarding.
The game begins with Captain Bernhardt of the Grudgebringers being hired by the Empire to protect a convoy of supplies. As they travel through the Old World, they encounter various enemy forces, including orcs, goblins, and undead creatures, and engage them in battle. Along the way, they meet various allies, including a dwarf named Olwyn, a wizard named Merlin, and a Bretonnian knight named Lieutenant Ralphie. The Grudgebringers are then tasked with defending a fortress from a massive orc attack. They are able to hold off the orcs, but they discover that the orcs were being led by a chaos sorcerer, and that the forces of chaos are gathering strength in the Old World. The Grudgebringers set out to stop the Necromancer, a powerful sorcerer who has been raising an army of undead creatures to aid him in his conquest of the Old World. In order to defeat the Necromancer, the Grudgebringers must first gather the pieces of a magical artifact known as the Staff of Volans, which can destroy the Necromancer's power. The Grudgebringers rescue a village from the clutches of a necromancer and then proceed to infiltrate a chaos stronghold to retrieve a magical artifact. They are able to retrieve the artifact, but not before the chaos sorcerer unleashes a massive demon known as the Lord of Change. As the Grudgebringers progress through their journey, they discover that the chaos forces, led by the Lord of Change, are planning a massive invasion of the old world. The Grudgebringers join forces with the Empire to defend against the chaos invasion. In the final battle of the game, the Grudgebringers and the Empire face off against the chaos forces in a massive battle that involves hundreds of units. The Grudgebringers are able to defeat the chaos forces and save the old world from destruction. In the end, the Grudgebringers are hailed as heroes. Captain Bernhardt reflects on the journey that has led them to this point, vowing to continue to defend the old world from all who would seek to destroy it. The game ends with the Grudgebringers riding off into the sunset, ready for their next adventure. Throughout the game, there are various subplots and side quests that add depth to the storyline. For example, the Grudgebringers must rescue a group of dwarves who have been captured by the Chaos Forces, and must deal with a group of bandits who are preying on travelers in the old world. These side quests not only provide additional challenges for the player, but also add to the overall world building of the game. Warhammer Dark Omen was released in 1998, and as such its graphics are somewhat dated by modern standards. However, for its time, the game featured impressive graphics and animations, with detailed unit models and environments. The game's user interface is also well designed, with clear icons and menus. The game's sound design is also noteworthy, with an epic orchestral soundtrack that perfectly captures the game's fantasy setting. The sound effects are also well done, with the clashing of swords, the firing of arrows, and the roar of dragons adding to the immersive atmosphere of the game. One of the strongest aspects of Warhammer Dark Omen is its high replay value. The game features a campaign mode with multiple branching paths, each with its own set of missions and objectives. Additionally, players can unlock additional units and heroes by completing optional objectives and purchasing them from the camp screen between missions. The game also features a multiplayer mode, allowing players to battle against each other online or over a local network. This adds an additional layer of depth and replayability to the game, as players can test their skills against other human opponents. Criticism: Warhammer Dark Omen is a classic real-time strategy game that holds a special place in the hearts of many gamers. However, even beloved games can have their flaws, and Dark Omen is no exception. One of the most significant issues with Dark Omen is its AI. While the game's AI can provide a competent challenge to players, it can also be downright unpredictable. It's like trying to answer the age-old question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? In Dark Omen, sometimes it feels like the AI's decisions are just as confusing as that question. While the game's AI is generally competent and challenging, there are instances where it makes odd decisions or gets stuck on certain terrain. This can lead to frustrating moments for players who are trying to complete a mission. Another potential weakness of Dark Omen is its graphics. While the game's graphics were impressive for its time, they may not hold up to modern standards. It's like wearing bell-bottom pants to a modern-day fashion show. It might have been cool back in the day, but it's just not going to cut it now. Finally, some players may find the game's campaign mode to be too linear. It's like being stuck in a choose-your-own-adventure book where there's only one path to take. While this isn't necessarily a deal-breaker, this is a common issue with many real-time strategy games of the time. It can limit the replay value of the game. Despite these criticisms, Warhammer Dark Omen remains a beloved game for many fans of the genre. Its immersive world-building, challenging gameplay, and engaging storyline make it a must-play for anyone who loves strategy games. But don't be surprised if the game's AI has you scratching your head like a philosopher pondering the chicken and egg dilemma.
The game was originally released for PC in 1998 and was later ported to the PlayStation in 1999. The game was developed by Mindscape, a now-defunct game development studio based in the UK. The game is set in the Warhammer Fantasy Battles universe, which is a tabletop miniatures game created by Games Workshop. The game features a cast of unique characters, including Captain Morgan Bernhardt, Lieutenant Ralphie, and Sergeant Helborg, among others. The game's storyline is set in the Old World, a fantasy world based on medieval Europe, and follows the adventures of a mercenary army known as the Grudgebringers. The game features over 30 unique units, including infantry, archers, cavalry, artillery, and monsters such as dragons and giants. The game features a variety of terrain types, including forests, hills, rivers, and castles, which can affect the gameplay and provide strategic advantages to the player. The game's multiplayer mode allows players to compete against each other in 1v1 battles, and supports both online and local network play. The game's soundtrack was composed by Paul Romero, the same composer behind the music of the Heroes of Might and Magic series.
Warhammer Dark Omen is a classic real-time strategy game that deserves to be experienced by gamers old and new. Here are some reasons why. First, the game offers an immersive and engaging storyline that is full of twists and turns. As players progress through the campaign mode, they'll encounter a range of characters, including villains who will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. Without giving too much away, let's just say that there are some shocking moments in the game that will keep players on the edge of their seats. Second, Dark Omen features a wide range of units that players can command in battle. From heavily armored knights to powerful wizards, there are units to suit every playstyle. Plus, with the ability to customize and upgrade units, players can create their own unique army that can take on any challenge. Third, the game's graphics, while dated by modern standards, still have a charm that is undeniable. The hand-drawn character portraits and battlefield scenery are stunning and help to create an immersive atmosphere that is difficult to replicate in modern games. Fourth, the game's AI, while unpredictable at times, offers a genuine challenge to players. Players will need to use all of their tactical skills and cunning to overcome the AI's strategies and win battles. Finally, the game's multiplayer mode offers endless replayability. Players can challenge each other to battles and see who has the superior strategy and army. Dark Omen's storyline is full of surprises, including some character deaths that will shock players. The game's final battle is a truly epic showdown that will leave players feeling like they've truly accomplished something.
Conclusion. Overall, Warhammer. Dark Omen is a well-crafted and engaging real-time tactics game set in the Warhammer Fantasy Battles universe. The game's unit management system, variety of terrain types, mission objectives, and enemy types create a deep and strategic gameplay experience that is both fun and rewarding. The game's storyline and characters are also well written, with plenty of twists and turns to keep players engaged. While the game is not without its flaws, it remains a classic and enjoyable game for fans of real-time tactics and the Warhammer franchise.
Warhammer. Dark Omen is an absolute gem that stands the test of time. Its captivating storyline, diverse unit options, stunning graphics, challenging AI, and multiplayer mode make it an absolute must-play for any real-time strategy fan. From the memorable characters to the epic final battle, Dark Omen is a game that will keep you hooked until the very end. And with the added bonus of unexpected plot twists and character deaths, you'll be on the edge of your seat as you navigate the world of Warhammer. The multiplayer mode provides endless hours of entertainment as you face off against friends and foes alike. In short, Dark Omen is a true masterpiece that is not to be missed. So rally your troops and prepare for battle, because the fate of the world rests in your hands. So, whether you're a fan of the Warhammer universe or just love a good strategy game, grab your sword, shield, or wand, and get ready for a journey that you won't soon forget.